Okay, class, let's take a look. See, where do we stop previously? Okay, let's take a look. Basically, we stop in the second jhana, wholesome consciousness. Where is it? Actually, this is in the chapter number 1. Class, let's take a look. Actually, we are in the chapter number 1. So, in chapter number 1, maybe just roughly, let me try to give you a little bit briefing. Let's take a look. So, in the chapter 1, we have gone through 89 and 121 chitta at a glance. So meaning to say that from here, we know that there will be some unwholesome chitta, there will be some rootless chitta, there will be some sense sphere beautiful chitta, and there will be some fine material sphere chitta and immaterial sphere chitta. Basically, we have roughly understand all of them. But in the previous lesson, we quite go deep regarding the five material sphere chitta, meaning to say that, okay, we understand that for the five material sphere, how how can we get the five material sphere? Remember, we are using a kasina as an example. So you try to see the kasina. Once you close your eye, the kasina will appear. We call it as a learning object. Okay, learning object. And then once the object getting more stronger and very purified and 100% and become even more beautiful, we call it as a ugahan nimitta. This we call it as a patibaka nimitta. The previously we call it as a ugahan nimitta. Okay, and then once we get this type of patibaka nimitta, I remember in previous lesson I mentioned you all, maybe by chanting the Buddha name, chanting the mantra, all you can achieve is less than first jhana. The reason is because by all the chanting, that the sound is still work as an object only. So you hear the sound, even though nimitta can appear, it cannot go further. Just like some courses, you end up in a diploma only, you cannot further to the degree. In order to further to the degree, you have to shift to other course. Same, by just chanting the mantra and also maybe the chanting the Buddha name, you have to shift to the contemplation to the Buddha statue or anapanasati in order to achieve to the first jhana. Okay, basically in Mahayana, all the sutra regards chanting abhidhamma or maybe the mantra, it doesn't mention all this. What we learn is the theory behind the jhana. Because most of our sutra, they just say, oh, you just chant it, the merit will bring you to the Western Pure Land. Oh, you chant this mantra, the merit will get what you lost, something like that. More on the merit side. It doesn't explain to you the mechanism behind the jhana. So what we learn now, we learn the mechanism behind the jhana. It is good for us to bring back all the theory to come back to Mahayana. Because Mahayana sometimes always talk about the merit only. It doesn't tell you what is the theory and mechanism behind. By knowing the mechanism behind, we know that, how far we can go. Then how can we choose, once we reach to the bottleneck, how should we further in our meditation? So do you get it? This is the important point. You must bring it back to the Mahayana. But once you discuss with the Mahayanist friend, just tell them all this. So in the previous lesson, I remember I talked about that. Then, actually, in previous lesson, we talked about the first jhana. So first jhana, we talk about the jhana angka factor. Number one is the initial application. For example, once if there's a flower and there's a bee, once the bee comes to the flower, we call it as a vitaka initial application. Then the bee keep on buzzing the flower. We call it as a sustainable application, which is vichara. Once you continuously with the vitaka vichara, the joy will start appear. You will feel rapture. Sometimes they use the word rapture. We call it as a piti. Then later on, the piti actually we got 5 types of the piti. Okay, I remember I recall. I asked you to recall which type of the piti you experienced before. Remember, you try to check for yourself. Once you get the piti, then later on you will get the sukha. So what is the sukha? Sukha is even deeper than the piti. If we use the analogy, some people travel in the desert, once people saw the oasis, that is the piti only. But one the people really drink the water, that will be the sukha. So sukha actually is the joyous. I mean, in the whole world. But I recall you, even though you experience sukha, but if let's say you are still working, you still got family, you shouldn't overindulge in the piti or the sukha, so that you would ignore the daily life job. Okay, so this I try to remind you all. Okay, then lastly, is the ekakata one-pointedness. So I remember I mentioned you all, ekakata one-pointedness, most of the people think it is only available during meditation. But no, actually in daily life, ekakata involved. For example, the thief I meet today, without the ekakata, how come the thief have a good plan and come to my house and off the Wi-Fi? And there must be ekakata. He know very well what to do. So must be some sort of concentration. Even he shout with me, also with ekakata also. If without ekakata, how can he shout with me, right? So we need to say there's an ekakata day, until he run away. For me, I also do everything with ekakata. If without ekakata, I'm just worry. I'm just feel fear. I also cannot do the thing step by step. Just stop all the car. Then call the police one by one. I can't do that in this way. Even though I keep on blamed by the police inspector, but I feel calm. So meaning to say that there will be some ekakata there. If no, I think I will quarrel with them. So that is the point. Luckily, I didn't quarrel with them. Okay, so we continue our today class. We go to the second jhana. Yeah, Sally, can you please read the passage, Sally?
Second jhana, wholesome consciousness. The higher jhanas are attained by successive elimination of grosser jhana factors and by refining the subtle factors through strengthened concentration. In the suttas, the Buddha expounded the jhanas as fourfold by teaching the simultaneous elimination of vitaka and vichara in progressing from the first jhana to the second. In the abhidhamma, the jhanas become fivefold by inclusion of an intermediate jhana, in which vikata has been eliminated while vichara remains. This is the second jhana in the abhidhamma scheme. In the third jhana, vihara as well is eliminated by the fourth piti and made to fade away. In the fifth jhana, upaka, equanimity or neutral feelings replaces sukha, happiness, as the non-committant feeling. Thus, whereas the chittas of the first four jhanas are associated with joy, somanasahita, and the chitta of the fifth jhana is associated with family. Okay, according to the Suttanata method, which enumerates the four jhanas of five material sphere, the first jhana is identical in all respects with the first jhana of the abhidhamma method. However, the second jhana of the Suttanata method is attained by simultaneous subsiding of initial application and sustained application, and thus has only three jhana factors of zest, happiness, and one-pointedness, like the third jhana of the abhidhamma method. The third jhana of the Suttanata method has two factors of happiness and one-pointedness, and the fourth jhana, the two factors of equanimity and one-pointedness. These two jhanas are equivalent to the fourth and fifth jhanas respectively of the abhidhamma method. Although the suttas do not mention the fivefold analysis of jhana in explicit terms, they provide an implicit basis for this analysis in the Buddha's distinction between three kinds of concentration. Concentration accompanied by both initial application and sustained application, concentration without initial application but with sustained application, and concentration with neither initial application nor sustained application. The first is obviously the first jhana in both systems, and the third is the second and higher jhanas of the Sutanta method, and the third and higher jhanas of the Abhidhamma method. The second, however, is nowhere clarified within the suttas themselves, but only becomes intelligible as the second jhana of the Abhidhamma method.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Sally, we pronounce as ubeka. This word we pronounce as ubeka. Okay, basically, one diagram is good enough for all this type of explanation. Let me show you a good diagram. Basically, the whole passage talk about the jhana, the definition of the jhana in between Abhidhamma and Sutanta. There will be some difference between them. And Abhidhamma define the jhana according to the sutra also. So let's take a look. Let me do a little bit changing to you. You can draw the diagram now in a quick manner. So this is, let me add in the English now for you. So this is the sutra. Then take a look. So this is a vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekakata. Okay, and then this is the first jhana. This is the second jhana. So this is the third jhana. And this is the fourth jhana. So the below is the abhidhamma. Okay, so the rest will be the same. So we come with the fifth jhana. Okay, if you troublesome, never mind, I will send you later on. Okay, you take a picture, maybe you don't feel so nice. Let me just do a little bit explanation class. Let's take a look. You see or not? Here's a difference between the sutra and also the abhidhamma. According to the teaching of sutra, from first jhana, switch to the second jhana, you're going to drop the vitaka vichara. All right? Then you just remain the piti sukha ekagata. When from second jhana switch to the third jhana, then you will just drop the piti and remain the sukha ekagata. Then from here, you jump to the fourth jhana, you will drop the sukha and remain the ekagata. Okay, so this is according to the teaching of the sutra. But in abhidhamma, basically it will drop one by one. See or not? Drop one by one. But from here, first jhana to second jhana, they drop two mental factor already, jhana anka factor already. But here, just drop one by one. Since it dropped one by one, it will go to the fifth jhana. Well, for abhidhamma, the way they drop the jhana actually is according to the teaching of the sutra also. What is the references? The references is here. Class, take a look. This is the references. Sawatika, blah, 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 blah. Okay, never mind. If you don't understand, it doesn't matter. Here, the meaning, it means to say that this passage, Sawatika, Savachara, blah, 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 is from the Majjhima Nikaya. The meaning is regarding to this. You see, concentration accompanied by both initiation, application, and sustained application, and concentration without initiation, application, but with sustained application, and concentration with neither initial application nor sustained application. This is the supporting facts for abhidhamma to have the jhana factor in this way. Yeah, Mr. Long, on the question, yes, please.
Sifu, regarding this Sutanta and this abhidhamma chart just now compared to the chart on figure on table 1.5 page.
Table 1.5, wait, okay, yes, table
50.
Table 1.5, this one table 1.5 is page 55. Yes, anything?
What is the difference and what is the relationship between the Sutanta abhidhamma and this chart?
Now see, Mr. Liang, the difference is here, it will drop the jhana factor one by one, you see?
Right.
Yeah, first jhana, it will be 5. Second jhana, it will drop 1, remain 4. Third jhana will drop 2 and remain true. It will drop one by one. This is according to the abhidhamma. But abhidhamma also based on the sutra also. Whereas, let's take a look. There's some sutra, from first jhana to second jhana, it will drop 2 jhana anga factor. Immediately drop 2. Okay, from first to second, it dropped 2. Okay, then third jhana drop 1, fourth jhana drop 1. So fourth jhana is the last jhana already for this type of sutra. Got it, Mr. Leong? Here's the difference.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, you get it. So how do they apply this? Basically, class, if you go to real meditation, how they drop the jhana, if you're able to reach to the first jhana, you have to learn how to check the jhana anka factor in the first place. Where to check? Because according to the abhidhamma, they mention the heart base is in the heart, they check in their heart. But some claim that you can check in the brain, you are able to check it. Then from first jhana, how to go to the second jhana, basically you have to observe the advantage for being second jhana and the disadvantage for being first jhana. After you contemplate that, immediately what you go back to check your heart base, then you will drop the jhana angka factor and upgrade to the second jhana. So that is the skill. So meaning to say that you have to really understand all this, so that one day you go to join the retreat, you will understand quickly, and you follow the instruction and do, and that true. I mean, and you can truly observe that. You can truly witness it in front of you. That jhana angka factor is one by one. Drop one, drop two, very clear one for those who attain the jhana. Okay, so Mr. Leong, since you are planning for this meditation method, you have to now make it clear. Not until that moment. In that moment, then what's the difference with all this? No, basically all the jhana master. I mean, the Siago, they don't explain this theory at the moment in the retreat. You have to make it clear now. Okay, get it? Okay, so you make it clear. Now you know the difference already. The way I see it, basically, if you follow the Thai forest monastery, the tradition will adopt 4 jhana method. So the 1 to 4 jhana only. But if you follow the Myanmar, especially the Burmese Thai, they have a tendency using the 5 jhana system. Okay, but in forest monastery, basically they ignore the nimitta. But for the Burmese, especially the based on the Visuddhimagga, they are very emphasizing the nimitta and also the 5 jhana angka factor. Okay, to get it. So the system different, the approach will be different. Okay, I will send you this diagram later on. Yeah, Mr. Leong, yes, you can ask now.
So why the discrepancy between the Thai forest monk and the Burmese monks regarding this nimitta? Because also derived from Buddhism itself.
No, because the nimitta, the concept of nimitta is clearly explained in Visuddhimagga, and Visuddhimagga are denied by all Thai monk. For the Thai monk, that since the King Rama began, they just emphasize on the sutra only. They ignore all the abhidhamma and the commentary. Visuddhimagga is not an abhidhamma, but it is a commentary. It is something have been compiled by the Buddha Gosa. And if you and they will try to prove it that in Nikaya, not very clear that they see the word nimitta. So they deny it. And they will use the theory from Nikaya to construct the meditation method. Whereas in Burma, since they recognize the Visuddhimagga, so they thoroughly apply the theory to construct the meditation method. So very obvious, you will see the word nimitta, and you must to gain the nimitta to further the jhana. That is the reason why.
Understand now.
Understand now, so there's no conclusive. There's no conclusion one. Basically, for Theravada, they follow this tradition. They will follow until they die. They will not like us. We are very flexible. We also can. They also can. Everywhere also can. But they don't. We can. Okay. So we just do our style. We learn from all of them. We learn from both of them. Then we do our own way.
Yeah, because it's to a destination, there are many different routes, way to arrive at the destination.
So that's why. So this is the reason why for me, as long as your method can help you remove the 5 hindrances, that is the good method already. We don't bother whether you are chanting the mantra or maybe just empty the mind qigong. As long as the 5 hindrances gone, that is a good method already. Because if we don't base on this experience, we base on the definition, we are confused already. Because there are different definition for all the system, even Theravada themselves. Okay, get it? So if we emphasize the effect rather than the differences between all this theory, then we can learn anywhere. We can go and learn any temple, any tradition. If you follow them, you can just follow them themselves. They won't allow you to go to other place. Okay, so that is the
Understand.
Understand now? Okay. Okay, next, let's take a look. Okay, so we finished already the diagram. Now we have a summary of the 5 material sphere consciousness. But let me take a look first at the summary. Huh? Okay, maybe the summary. Summary. Let's see worth to study or not. Okay, yeah, Tiong Tek, can you please read the summary lah? Oh.
5 material sphere consciousness is fivefold when divided by way of the jhanas. It becomes of 15 types when further divided by way of the wholesome, resultant, and functional. The 5 jhanas become of 15 types by occurring as wholesome chittas, as resultants, and as functionals. Each jhana chitta of the same level is defined by the same set of factors, whether wholesome, resultant, or functional. All chittas of the 5 material sphere are associated with knowledge, though knowledge not being a specific jhana factor is not mentioned in the formulas. Thus, all the 5 material sphere chittas have 3 roots: non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion. It should be noted that, in contrast with sense sphere with wholesome and unwholesome chittas, the 5 material sphere chittas are not distinguished by way of prompted and unprompted. The same distinction is also omitted from the exposition of the immaterial sphere and supramundane chittas. This omission is made because when one is practicing meditation to attain the jhana, a path or a fruit, as long as one is dependent upon instigation from others or upon one's own self-prompting, the mind is not yet in a suitable condition to reach the attainment. The distinction of prompted and unprompted is appropriate in relation to the preliminary phase of practice leading up to the attainment. But the chittas with which the actual attainment takes place cannot involve prompting or inducement. Thus, in the absence of a real possibility of prompted jhana and supramundane attainment, the very distinction between prompted and unprompted become untenable in relation to these types of chittas. The view we have expressed here differs from the commonly accepted opinion of the Vibhavini Tika that since
Yeah, sorry, Tongkit, I can stop here. Okay, because below all are the controversy issue. Basically, we just ignore it lah. Because the theory we want to understand and memorize a lot already, so we don't want to involve all the controversy issue. Once you really learn it well, then we can come back again to the controversy again. Okay. So just do a little bit digest for the summary lah, how to recall you lah. Okay. Okay, basically here we understand that for the 5 material sphere, there will be 15 types and it can be categorized to wholesome citta, resultant, and as the functional, and all of them have 3 roots, meaning to say non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion. Let me try to remind you that 3 roots citta is very important citta. It is very good citta with the 3 root, meaning to say that 3 root for the 5 material, immaterial, and supramundane, there must be 3 root. Whereas in the sensual sphere, it could be 3 root, 2 root, or non-root. So meaning to say, as a human being, RAM, we are more complicated because sometimes people you met, it can be 3 root, 2 root, and the non-root. If let's say the people you met are 3 root, meaning to say, when they practice vipassana and the samatha, they are able to attain to the jhana. But the people you met, which is the non-root and second root, they are not able to attain any jhana. Who are they? Where can we meet the people with the non-root? You can meet them in the mental retarded center. And also you can, especially people who are inborn disability, for example, blind, congenital blind, and then the deaf, they are all considered non-root. Non-root meaning to say, no matter how hard they cultivate, there will be no attainment in the jhana and the vipassana. So they are the non-root. In the simple way, they got something wrong with the brain. Because you see, so far until now, it seems the jhana, even the jhana involve the brain. You notice that or not? The way I explained, it really involves the brain. But we mentioned all the mental retarded, or all these type of people, there's something wrong with the brain already. Schizophrenia, the inborn mental retarded, or maybe Down syndrome, all this, all something wrong with the brain already. They even cannot have a normal daily life. How can they practice the jhana? Is it correct? Even though do the dana also cannot. Okay, so next, let's take a look. We go to the next chapter. Yeah, Kok Hong, you can ask the question. Yes, please.
Sifu, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm confused about this. When we practice meditation, we can achieve first jhana, second, third, fourth. How is this jhana leads to the sainthood, like arahantship, like the first level of sotapanna?
Okay, again, you mean what's the difference? You mean how the jhana shift to the arahantship, right?
Yeah, what is the relationship between these two, and how by practicing these meditations, and it can leads to this arahantship, like sotapanna or arahant?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, basically the first, second, third jhana, they are the tools. They are just like they are the tools. Once you attain to the jhana, you have to use the tools to observe your nama and rupa. What is your nama and rupa? Your nama and rupa actually is the 5 aggregate. The 5 aggregate. You have to observe the 5 aggregate throughout your body systematically, according to the abhidhamma, and you will learn everything after we finish. Then you will learn everything from now onwards to the chapter number 2, number 3, number 4, number 6. All the knowledge will be included for the usage for vipassana. Okay, so Kok Hong, please don't miss any class. Yes, because what knowledge all we learn here is strongly related to the vipassana, and we will transform it, become the knowledge, and the outcome will be the arahant, this type of a path and the fruit lah. That will be the consequence. Okay, so in a simple way, once you attain the jhana, you have to shift to the vipassana, and from the vipassana, you were able to attain to the path and the fruit. Got it, Kok Hong?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sifu.
You're welcome. So we continue. So now we go is the immaterial sphere consciousness. Okay. Juntat, can you please read the passage? Maybe just the English only will do already. Can you on the mic, Juntat?
Okay. Immaterial sphere, wholesome consciousness. 1. Wholesome consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite space. 2. Wholesome consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite consciousness. 3. Wholesome consciousness pertaining to the base of nothingness. 4. Wholesome consciousness pertaining to the base of neither perception nor non-perceptions. These are the 4 types of immaterial sphere wholesome consciousness. Okay, immaterial sphere resultant consciousness. 1. Resultant consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite space. 2. Resultant consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite consciousness. 3. Resultant consciousness pertaining to the base of nothingness. 4. Resultant consciousness pertaining to the base of neither perception nor non-perceptions. These are the 4 types of immaterial sphere resultant consciousness. Immaterial sphere functional consciousness. 1. Functional consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite space. 2. Functional consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite consciousness. 3. Functional consciousness pertaining to the base of nothingness. 4. Functional consciousness pertaining to the base of neither perception nor non-perceptions. These are the 4 types of immaterial sphere functional consciousness. Thus, and in all, the 12 types of immaterial sphere wholesome, resultant, and functional consciousness. Immaterial sphere consciousness. This sphere of consciousness comprises the cittas pertaining to the immaterial plane of existence, 4 realms in which matters has been totally transcended, and only consciousness and mental factors remain. Rebirth into these 4 realms comes into truth, the attainment of the arupa, the 4 immaterials or formless absorptions, which are reached by developing concentration beyond the 5 jhanas of the fine material spheres. The immaterial sphere consists of 12 cittas, the 4 wholesome cittas with which the material attainments are experienced by whirlings and trainees. The 4 resultants which arise through rebirth in the immaterial realms, and the 4 functional which occurs to arahants who enter upon the immaterial attainments. The base of infinite space. The first of the 4 immaterial jhanas is the attainment of the base of infinite space. To reach this, a meditator who has mastered the 5th fine material jhana based on a kasina object, spread out the counterpart signs of the kasina until it becomes immeasurable in extent. Then he removes the kasina by attending only to the space it pervaded, contemplating it as infinite space. Through repeated attention given in this way, they eventually arise in absorptions, a citta having as object the concept of infinite space. The expressions based on base of infinite space, strictly speaking, refers to the concept of infinite space, which serves as the object of the first immaterial sphere consciousness. Here, the word ayatana, base, has the sense of a habitat or dwelling for the citta of the jhana. However, in a derivative sense, the expression base of infinite space is also extended to the jhana itself.
Okay, thank you so much. Elena, can you please continue to the reading, Elena?
The base of infinite consciousness. The consciousness that is here said to be infinite is the consciousness of the first immaterial absorption. Since that first immaterial absorption has as its object the base or concept of infinite space, this implies that the consciousness which pervades that space as its object also partakes in this infinity. To reach this attainment, therefore, the meditator takes as object the consciousness of the base of infinite space and contemplate it as infinite consciousness until the second immaterial absorption arises, the base of nothingness. The third immaterial attainment has as its object the present non-existence, voidness, or secluded aspect of the consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite space. By giving attention to the absence of that consciousness, the third immaterial absorption arises, taking as its object the concept of non-existent or nothingness in respect of the first immaterial consciousness, the base of neither perception nor non-perception. This fourth and final immaterial attainment is so called because it cannot be said either to include perception or to exclude perception. In this type of consciousness, the factor of perception has become so subtle that it can no longer perform the decisive function of perception. And thus, this state cannot be said to have perception. Yet, perception is not altogether absent but remains in a residual form. Thus, it cannot be said not to have perception. Although perception alone is mentioned, all the other mental constituents in this chitta also exist in the state of such extreme subtlety that cannot be described as either existent or non-existent. This fourth immaterial absorption takes as its object the consciousness of the base of nothingness, the third immaterial absorption.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's try to digest all together. Okay. So I will highlight quickly. So you please follow me in the quickly also. Okay, so class, this is about we name it as immaterial sphere. Well, basically for the immaterial sphere, we also begin with, we talk about wholesome consciousness, the resultant consciousness, and also the functional consciousness. Okay, class, let me just roughly tell you how to practice to attain the wholesome consciousness. Okay, basically, this is how we name it. We try to be familiar. It's a wholesome consciousness pertaining to the base of the infinite space. Then second one is the pertaining to the base of the infinite consciousness. Begin with the infinite space. Then the different with the second is the infinite consciousness. Okay. And the third one is the base of the nothingness. Okay, see, base of the nothingness. And the last one is the base of a neither perception nor non-perception. So that is the name. So in the very beginning, we try to understand how to attain to the base of the infinite space. Okay, class, if you remember, we use the kasina as an example. Basically, okay, if you open your eye, close your eye, and the image can 100% appear in your mind, we call it as the ugaha nimitta. Okay, then once you continue contemplate it for 2 hours, 3 hours, ugaha nimitta will become the patipaka nimitta. Once the patipaka nimitta become mature, you have to expand the nimitta. When you expand the nimitta to the unlimitless, you will notice that actually within the nimitta, you will see many like the atom one. Actually, it consists of the atom and molecule. Then from the between the atom and atom, within the kasina, you will see the space. Then you try to how to enlarge the space. Once you enlarge the space, you have to contemplate what? See, this is the sentences you will try to say. Class, let's take a look. Then you will say that, this one, infinite space. You keep on saying infinite space. Because between two the odd atom within the kasina, there will be infinite space when you, and to expand it. The more you expand, the larger you expand, then you are able to attain is the wholesome consciousness pertaining to the base of nothingness. So that is the skills. How are you going to practice? Okay, then these skills you know is good enough. For the second, third, and fourth, actually there's a little bit abstract. Okay, but the diagram below can help you a lot. Let's take a look. By knowing the diagram, that is good enough already. Number one, let's take a look. You see how to reach to the base of an infinite space. Okay, in order to reach this, you have to transcend the object of what? Concept of the kasina. See or not? So meaning to say that in order to practice the immaterial sphere, you must have the basic of the kasina. You cannot attain through anapanasati. You cannot attain through the fullness contemplation. Cannot only kasina only. So in order to practice immaterial sphere, you have to begin with the kasina, especially the color kasina. So color kasina, you enlarge it, you are able to see, the nimitta begin there. You were able to see that the nimitta begin there. The space begin there. So meaning to this is the reason why we call it as a transcend the concept of the kasina. Then what is the direct object? Is the concept of the space. So basically, you have to transcend something, then you got one direct object. This is for the base of the infinite space. Once you come to the base of an infinite consciousness, previously the direct object is the concept of the space, they will become the transcended object for you. Then you will direct object to the consciousness of the infinite space. Then you are able to attain the base of the infinite consciousness. The third one is the base of nothingness. Again, you will take the direct object of the second one become your transcendent object. Then immediately your direct object will be the concept of the non-existent. Okay, then lastly, you want to attain to the last one, neither perception nor non-perception. You have to take the direct object for the third one, not existent. Then you will able the direct object of the consciousness of nothingness become your direct object. You will get the base of the non-perception nor non-perception. So I mean for you understand this part will be good enough. Then the rest since the consciousness and the space and the nothingness all are the terminology very abstract, so you just basically know a little bit will be good enough. But in real life meditation, the method is still available. Then by studying this, one day you want to practice, you get the idea, then you know how to try it out. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Leung, you raise your hand, please.
Sifu, in the process of meditation, it will come a time when during the meditation one enters into infinite space. What does it mean?
Infinite, you mean during your meditation?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
like I said that you have arrived like in the cosmos and in the universe.
No, actually that is not infinite space according to the definition. Once you notice that all is still under the scope of the jhana. You will feel that because your mind have been revealed already. That is the real mind. Once you're able to subside all the five hindrances, your mind revealing. Actually, the feeling of the cosmos is very big. That is the feeling through the jhana. You're still under the jhana scope. Don't use the infinite space because you will confuse the definition. In order to attain to the infinite space, you have to begin attainment with the fifth jhana or for the kasina. You expand the atom and molecule, then you're able to attain that. So, Mr. Leung, what you experience all are still under the scope of the jhana actually. You feel the cosmos. That's all.
Okay, all right.
Okay, So class, remember, okay, so for these four, actually, basically, they are very famous. The reason is why, because the last two teachers from the Shakyamuni, they are the one who have already attained the resultant consciousness of the base of nothingness and the base of neither perception nor non-perception. That is the last two teachers of the Shakyamuni. Once Shakyamuni, even though he attained these two types of the jhana, but one, the jhana gone, he noticed, no, my defilement is still there. So immediately Shakyamuni realized that, well, this is not ultimate. That's why he go to the under body tray, he recall the past life meditation experience, the Patika Samvabhada. Then from there, he redo the Vipassana and he realized the Nibbana. And then he tried to communicate with the teachers. But the teacher, since they work so hard to develop the consciousness, the wholesome consciousness, once they turn out become the resultant already, meaning to say they're reborn, they don't have any ear, eye, or the faculty because they don't have the body. Without the body, without the nerve in the ear, Shakyamuni cannot express the experience of the Vipassana to them. So that is the reason why Shakyamuni label this immaterial sphere is not the good place for us to attain. Because once you attain there, even though the sages want to communicate with you, they cannot communicate with you because you don't have the nerve in your ear because the whole ear gone. So that's why we labeled it, call it as an obstruction for the meditation. This type of immaterial sphere. Okay, do you get it? Anyway, because why it is available in the sutta? Because Shakyamuni learned them before. Okay, but anyway, there's one good question. Since Shakyamuni banned us, Shakyamuni also, comment that this type of the jhana immaterial sphere is not conducive to vipassana. But how come in our real life, the method is still available and they still encourage you to attain it? You think why is it? Tiongkit, you think why? Here they say, no, you don't go there immaterial, you don't have ear faculty, you cannot listen to the Dharma. But practically, they encourage you to attain that. You know why?
No idea. Maybe it's all good cittas there.
No good citta. See, Tiongkit lah, okay, Tiongkit, if let's say, you study Form 5 and Form 6, okay, okay. After you study Form 5, you go to the Form 6. Then from Form 6, you come back to Form 5. Do you feel easier for you?
Yeah.
Very easy, right? Because Form 6, it's advanced than Form 5, right? Okay, can you apply this theory to the 5 material sphere and the immaterial sphere?
Yeah, when once you attain this immaterial sphere jhanas, then it's easy for you to attain the 5 material jhanas.
Yes, correct. Applause to Tiongkit. Very good. Yeah, practically that's what they do lah. But you don't stay too long in the immaterial sphere, but you just get the experience because both they involve the ekakata. So once you go to the immaterial sphere, your ekakata become very strong. When you go start come down to the 5 material sphere, 4th jhana is easier for you, more stable already. See or not? Okay. So that is the real experience. According to that, okay, so whereas what is the functional? Yes, functional just for arahat only lah. Because arahat sometimes they also will meditate to the immaterial sphere, just somehow they want to go there, they want to experience that. But since arahat, there will be no more karma for the next life. So we are using functional for them, so that they experience the functional immaterial sphere, so that next life they won't be reborn, become the being, the living being in the immaterial sphere. So no matter how, please produce too strong jhana in the immaterial sphere, because it is not good for us to reborn to that. But our problem is, but I think no need worry, because it's very hard for us. Even the 1st jhana we also cannot attain. So actually, it's quite hard for us to produce the immaterial sphere. So no need to worry. So we just theoretically we say, oh, not good to go there. Actually, even we want, also we cannot lah. Am I right? Too difficult already. Yes, Mr. Leong, any question?
Yes, just now I think Sifu has answered my question regarding it's so difficult to attain this material sphere consciousness, and then you want us to go beyond into the immaterial sphere consciousness. Is so difficult. And then after going there, they come back down to material sphere consciousness.
Yeah. But anyway, the way I see, some of you since already attained to the nimitta, actually you're quite close to the 1st jhana already. Actually, from 1st jhana to the 2nd jhana, 3rd, 4th jhana, not as difficult as from the karma, from the sense sphere to the 5 material sphere, because we are living in the sense sphere, right? We used to experience the greedy, the hatred, all this. So from here, we change to the 1st jhana without all these 5 hindrances. It's very difficult. But once you attain the 1st jhana, from 1st jhana to 2nd, 3rd, 4th, it's easier actually. Very fast you can attain there. So from and then from here you want to shift to the immaterial sphere, also difficult, because we used to by having the material body. Suddenly you want to shift to the immaterial is difficult. But once you reach to the pertaining to the infinite space, then the 3rd, 4th, 5th immaterial will be easier again. So that's why it is hard for you from one sphere to another sphere. But once you reach that sphere already, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th easy for you, because you're used to it already. Okay, so anyway, for those who already got the nimitta, just work hard and use for being without any 5 hindrances. Okay, okay. So no need to worry. I think it's once you got the opportunity, maybe from maybe 1 month or within 1 month, you're able to try everything. I heard they got one how to say a yogi who is a woman because he practiced another tradition for 20 years already. So once he come to this tradition, based on the Visuddhimagga, just within 1 month, you can finish all the jhana, immaterial jhana, with 5 material sphere and including vipassana. The reason is because he worked hard in other tradition and also with the past life karma, past life practice. So she is able to attain. She is very famous nowadays, become a famous Saile already. Okay, so work hard. It is possible to attain all this. Okay, so we finish all this immaterial sphere. So class, please highlight this. So this diagram, just knowing this table will be good enough for you already. The diagram easier compared with all these sentences. So just from this diagram, please highlight this. See. Okay, please highlight. So this one is similar with this one. Okay, space and space. Then you see a non-existent and non-existence here. See, you can see that there's a rules and regulation behind this. Okay, so you have to understand the kasina. Okay, so you can see the rule and regulation easy for you to remember. Then this is the space. You can see the space and space here. And then this is you see here's the nothingness. You see nothingness. And then here you can see the nothingness again. There will be some trends behind all this. By knowing this is good enough for you already. So next time when you practical, once you do the practical, you know how to play all this. Okay, then let's continue from here. Let me see first. It is necessary to learn when classified by way of an object. Okay, now we try to read it out. Okay, whose turn? Who haven't read yet? Popo, can you please read the passage, please, Popo? When classified by way of an object.
When classified by way of object, in relation to each type of immaterial sphere consciousness, there are 2 kinds of object to be understood.
Okay, Popo, okay, please stop, never mind. It doesn't matter already, this one. So immediately from here, then I think we jump to here already. A supramundate consciousness. You can start here, Popo. Supramundate consciousness. Okay.
Supramundane consciousness. One path consciousness of stream and supramundane wholesome consciousness. 1. Path consciousness of stream and tree. 2. Path consciousness of one's returning. 3. Path consciousness of non-returning. 4. Path consciousness of arahantship. There are the 4 types of supramundane wholesome consciousness. Supramundane resultant consciousness. 1. Fruition consciousness of stream and tree. 2nd, fruition consciousness of one's returning. 3. Fruition consciousness of non-returning. 4th, fruition consciousness of arahantship. These are the 4 types of supramundane resultant consciousness, thus end in all the 8 types of supramundane wholesome and resultant consciousness. Summary of supramundane consciousness. The wholesome consciousness is 4-fold, divided by way of the 4 paths. So too are the resultant, being their fruits. The supramundane should be understood at 8-fold. Supramundane consciousness. Supramundane consciousness is consciousness that pertains to the process of transcending the world consisting of the 5 aggregates of clinging. This type of consciousness leads to liberation from samsara, the cycle of birth and death, and to the attainment of nibbana, the cessation of suffering. There are 8 supramundane cittas. These pertain to the 4 stages of enlightenment. Stream entry, one's returning, non-returning, and arahantship. Each stage involves 2 types of citta. These pertain to the each state involves two types of citta, path consciousness and fruition consciousness, as seen in table 1.7. All supramundane cittas take as object the unconditioned nirvana, but they differ as path and fruits according to their functions. The path consciousness has the function of eradicating defilements. The fruition consciousness has the function of experiencing the degree of liberation made possible by the corresponding path. The path consciousness is a kusala citta, a wholesome state. The fruition consciousness is a vipaka citta, a resultant. Each path consciousness arises only once and endures only for one mind moment. It is never repeated in the mental continuum of the person who attains it. The corresponding fruition consciousness initially arises immediately after the path moment and endures for 2 or 3 mind moments. Subsequently, it can be repeated and with practice can be made to endure for many mind moments in the supramundane absorptions called fruition attainment. The path and fruits are attained by the method of meditation called, Sifu, can you move? Called the development of insight. This type of meditation involves the strengthening of the faculty of wisdom by sustained attention to the changing phenomena of mind and matter. The meditator learns to discern their true characteristic of impermanence, suffering, and non-self. When these insights gain full maturity, they issue in the supramundane path and fruits.
Okay, thank you so much. The wind and the thunderstorm is very crazy. Do you want to keep your clothes or not? Very crazy. Oh, nothing happened to your place. Oh, downpour, you see? Wow, the wind is very crazy. Popo, just now you read until here, right, Popo? Correct?
Yes, Sifu.
Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, okay, let me start the explanation for all this. So basically, now we go to the last one. We call it as a supramandate consciousness. Maybe let me bring your attention first to the list of the table. List of the table is in the list. Okay. So basically, if you go to the page 28, see, okay, page 28, we finish the 54 sense sphere chitta. We finished the 5 material sphere. We finished the 12 material sphere. Now we go to the supramandate. So supramandate, that's what we see here, that totally got 8, which is, first 4 is the path. The last 4 is the fruit. Okay, why we call it as a path? Basically, the path is so powerful. Once the path arises, some defilement will be eradicated permanently. Always remember that. Whereas if you just attain the jhana, the 5 hindrances just temporarily be suppressed only, but not permanently eradicated. So this is the reason why for all the Buddhists, their aim is the attainment of the path. So once you attain the path, you will because the merit of the path is to eradicate defilement. After eradicate the defilement, you will feel the joy. So so the last 2 moments we call as a fruition will experience the joys. Okay, the joy, even though they are supramandate. So we call the path as wholesome citta. But the fruit also we call it as a resultant, even though we use the same name. But they are supramandate. How are we going to attain that? Through vipassana. What does it mean, vipassana? Vipassana is the observation, our impermanence, suffering impermanence, and non-self of our nama and rupa. Where is the nama? Where is the rupa? Rupa is this body lah. Okay, once you have the jhana, you will able to analyze the body until to the stage of the atom and the molecule. So from the stage at the atom and molecule, you start to observe their impermanence. And with the jhana, we are able to check our mentality. We will notice that our feeling, our volitions, and our how to say so is the feeling, perception, and also the volition. They are also impermanent. Once the observation is getting mature, the nibbana arises. So that is the process mentioning here. Okay, if let's say we try to go in a more microscopic way, okay, class maybe a little bit, we go far a little bit, you see, you have to come to this list of the table. We come to the chapter number 4. Class, let's take a look. In chapter number 4, we are able to see the absorption of the jhana process. Okay, so this is the page 169. Okay, just do a little bit explanation. I have to cross this to give you a more clear way. Let's see. So this is the attainment of the path and fruit. Do you see, class? Path and fruit. So PA is the path. Please circle it. Okay. Then FR is the fruit. Please circle it. Okay. In the first time you experience the path and fruition, the path will be only one moment only, and the fruition will become twice. This is all people experience will begin in these ways. Okay, so you see this timetable is in the chapter number 4, chapter number 4, table 4.4. Okay, so this is the path, this is the fruition. Okay, so class, what is all of this previous three? So this is the observation for the anicca, dukkha, anatta through the wholesome consciousness in the sense sphere. So meaning to say that you don't use the jhana to do the vipassana, but you use the sense sphere wholesome consciousness to do the vipassana. So meaning to say that if let's say for this life, after you work hard, you're still unable to experience the path, you will accumulate karma in the sense sphere consciousness, meaning to say that you will be born as a human. That is the key of the point, because people will be curious of, if let's say I work hard in vipassana, but if we are unable to attain to the fruit, to the path, become arahant, so where do we go? Will you reborn as a human or become the sensual deva? The reason is the mental, because doing vipassana is by using the sense sphere consciousness to do the vipassana, but you don't use the jhana to do the vipassana. Okay? If you're getting more and more confused, please raise your hand. Who is confusing? Who start confusing? Please raise your hand. Okay, okay. For those who feel confused, it's because you are not familiar. Basically, you have to do the sophisticating reading at least 7 to 8 times. I don't cheat you, because this is really is a Form 6 standard. You can't just take it like a Form 3 textbook. I can tell you. What I'm telling you, I just memorizing the whole facts only, like a law book. I just remember the whole thing. No credibility from me. You don't understand because you are not familiar. So please invest some time. It's very worth. I'm sure this is the blue chip. I don't bluff you. It's a blue chip worth for investment. You really pay attention, because once you gain this is the most difficult one. Then wherever you go, easier for you. Okay, so please, what should you do? Repeat, and repeat. There's no room for credibility, but just to memorize the thing only, to familiar with the fact. Then you understand why I'm saying so. Because the way I tell you is very simple theory, but the theory behind is the very systematic mechanism support it. You see. You get it? So that's why I can answer you. Why after the Vipassana, you cannot become Arahant? Where do you go? You become a human. Or you become a sensual Deva. Why? Because there's a theory support behind. And the theory, they use it for meditation. Okay, do you get it? Okay, so I think it is enough confusing already, so I better stop here, okay, so if okay, I keep on mentioning it is a blue chip, please invest more time. Elena, you retire already, yeah, Sally, Junta, all are retiring people, you look so free, you know, your face telling me you are very free, so just invest in the blue chip, it is worth. So this is how I bring you back to all this diagram. Okay, so we stop here lah. So we stop here in consciousness. So in the next lesson, I will try to continue with the path consciousness. Okay, in one by one. Okay, so all this actually I mentioned already lah. I digest all the terminology inside my explanation already. Okay, so we start our next chapter. Next, okay.